you know.
Okay, well, I will get started here. I hope people are able to hear us, and but we'll get going. I wanted to thank Georgia for showing up today and really telling us all about Liquid Demi and all of the other amazing Pulverite products. But basically, the idea of today is if you were invited to the class, you probably received some samples. You want to know more about Liquid Demi. This is a total kind of question and answer. We really just wanted to put something together so that if you guys got a chance to try the product, that you really knew all about the product and everything the product has to offer. We have Georgia Gold here. I'll give her a chance to introduce herself, but she's the Liquid Demi Factionate Toner Champion. She's incredible. And my name is Carson. I'm the Business Development Manager for Ontario region. So any questions that you guys have, anything like that, you can find us both on Instagram and we'll share our handles. But for now, I will hand it over to Georgia. She's going to be going all over, Liquid Demi, toners, Factionate, and yeah, please let's have an interactive class, unmute, ask questions. We're all been not seeing each other as much, of course, in the last little bit. So the more interaction we can have, the better. It makes for an easier digital experience. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming, and I'll hand it over to Georgia.
Thank you so much, Carson. Thanks again for coming in on this Monday. I know we're all gearing up to open up, so things are a little crazy. So like Carson said, I'm going to be talking about the vegan Liquid Demi line as well as our vegan Factionate family and talking about our high-speed toners as well. So I'm just going to jump into it. What I'm going to do is talk about each color family, the best way that I like to utilize them, what they're best used for, and then we're going to jump in and I'm going to show you some looks that I created using the Liquid Demi line, and we can talk about how I created those looks and was able to achieve them using the Liquid Demi line. So the first thing I want to say about our Liquid Demis, we have these beautiful artwork here on our board. And what's really important to know about our Liquid Demis is that the consistency is amazing. It is perfect to work with for shadow roots or spreadability, like doing color melts. But what's really important is that they're highly pigmented. So if you want to be creating more pastelized or glossier shades, you really want to be using our clear. So our clear can be used in two different ways. The clear can be used on its own to give a shine and a nice effect to the hair. Again, this is no ammonia, so you're not going to get any lifting or bumping of the base. So you're going to have the ability to give a nice gloss shine to the hair, as well as creating lighter levels or glosses with these shades that we have here. So for example, we have our natural series, which is 9.0, 7.0, 6.0, and 3.0. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, what about 5? What about 7? Or sorry, what about 5? So what we do with our clear is if you mix 1 ounce of clear to 1 ounce of your Liquid Demi, you get 1 level lighter. If you mix 2 ounces of clear to 1 ounce of Liquid Demi, you get 2 levels lighter. If you mix 3 ounces of clear to 1 ounce of Liquid Demi, you get 3 levels lighter. So that's how we're able to create different levels, like a level 10, a level 11 with our 9 series, or creating a 5 or a 4 with our 6 and 3 series. So it gives you much more flexibility and different range, but keeping the palette very small and not having to stock so much product, which is really incredible as well. So our natural series, just like Factionate, is a cool, balanced tone. So it's not going to be warm and reddish in reflection. You're going to get a nice, cool, balanced natural. You can get gray coverage as well with our natural series and our natural gold series if you process it for 40 minutes. So our typical processing time is 20 minutes. So you want to process on damp hair. Typically, I'm using it on damp hair at the sink. You can apply on dry. I've done that before as well if you just want to work a bit faster because it does soak it up pretty quick. What was I talking about? So you want to use your 20 minutes. So then to get gray blending, you want to process for 40 minutes. So it's good for those clients that have fine to low minimum gray hair and just want to have a nice blending effect. So great for men, great for those barber shops, great for the beard because the consistency isn't going to be drippy. It's not going to get all over the client. It's going to stay put where you put it, which is a really important key factor, especially if you're doing men. You don't want to have a huge stain. So another great thing about Pulp Riot is the stain comes off really easily, which is fantastic. So you're not having to worry about those clients leaving looking hideous. So talking about our natural gold series, which is really good for low lighting. It gives us perfect low light effect, and it helps fill the hair a little bit because it has that gold in there as well as the natural. So you get a really nice, beautiful low light that doesn't go patchy or muddy looking. It looks really nice and pure. Next, we have the Ash series, which is a blue base, is our blue base series. I love the Ash series. I use most of the time probably 6-1 and 7-0 is my shadow root. That's my go-to shadow root formula. I absolutely love it. It's so beautiful and super natural as well. If you wanted something a little bit more artificial looking and super gray, I would go in with just a 6-1 on its own. But we have a beautiful double Ash series as well, 911 and 811. 911, 811, double ash. And these are great for creating silvers in the hair that don't go green. So along with using it to correct colors as well, like those orangey or brassier tones that we see pulling through the hair, this will help cancel those out. But you can also create really beautiful silvers that won't go green or muddy as either. So it's super nice to use for making your grays. Next we have is our Violet series in our Liquid Demi. So the Violet series, Violet and Gold, I apologize. So our Violet series is great for canceling out yellow and creating those pearly blondes. And then, bye, Carson. Thank you. If anyone has any questions as I'm talking, because I'm just going to keep talking, you can pop them in the chat and I'll make sure to keep kind of looking at the screen and I can read them as they pop up. Okay, perfect.
Bye, guys. Have a good class.
Bye, Carson. Thank you. So talking about our Violet series, perfect for canceling out yellow, creating those pearly pattern blondes, but we also have a 3-2. So you can create those darker violets, a bit more fashion tones as well. It's hard to see, it doesn't pick up as well, but it's a beautiful, beautiful dark purple. So super great. Now for creating that really nice Billie Eilish warm blonde that everyone's obsessed with right now, we have our gold series. Because Pulp Riot is cooler based, I find the golds to be really natural and not too yellow looking, which is really great. So you get that beautiful 9-3 and this beautiful 6-3 as well. So again, it gives you more creative freedom with getting different shades by using your clear. Next, going over is our Copper series, which is definitely an orange, not a red or a warm. It's definitely pure orange pigment. So that's really great as well for creating those coppers, more lived in poppy looks as well. So you have 9-4 and 7-4 in the Copper series. Moving on to 5-7.
Yeah, it looks like she is gone. It froze.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, it froze.
I thought it was us. Oh, she's back.
There we go.
You're on mute.
I'm on mute. Hey, okay, there we go.
Welcome back.
My connection bailed out. So sorry.
It's all good.
Okay, now we're back. Thank you so much, Christina, for holding over the show. I know you were there for me. Okay, perfect. So moving on to our brown series, which is our 7-8 and 5-8. This gives you a true brown. So it's not going to be a red brown, something super warm. It gives you a true balanced brown. So it's going to give you this nice effect in the hair that looks really natural, isn't overdone. and really good. And then moving on to our boosters here, which you can use on their own, mixing 1 part color to 1 part developer, or you can add them to your formulas. I find because the Liquid Demis are so pigmented, when you're adding the booster to your formula, you want to account for that booster in your developer. So for example, with Faction 8, if you're mixing under 10 grams of your booster in your formula, you don't have to add more developer. But with the Liquid Demi, if you're still adding under 10 grams of that booster, you want to make sure that you account for it in your Liquid Demi developer. Does that make sense for everybody? Yeah? Okay, good. So we have our violet booster, the gold booster, copper booster, and the red booster. So all of these can be added to the colors to create different tones, or on their own to create fashion shades. And I'll show you guys a little example of that in a bit later. And again is our clear. And I just want to reiterate how to use our clear. So it's pretty much 1 part clear to 1 part liquid demi. You're going to get 1 level lighter. 2 parts clear to 1 part liquid demi. You're going to get 2 levels lighter. And then if you want 3 levels of lift, you're going to mix 3 parts clear to 1 part liquid demi, and that's how you get your other levels of lift. So I just want to make sure everyone's good to go on that too, because it's super important when you're trying to create a level 10 for toning, level 11, or anything like that. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of looks that I created using the Liquid Demis today. Sorry, just gonna get back in my computer. So the first look I'm going to show you is this gal right here. She is, pop her off. She is my little like candy cane dream. She's super cute. She's got that red and white look. I have a little braid crown on her right now. The way that I achieved this mannequin was taking vertical sections like this and applying. And what I did on every other section, as you can see here, is I dragged the product down. Now, because of the Liquid Demi's consistency, I was able to drag the product down and not get drippage or spillage through the hair, or different shifting of shades in between the 2 tones. So I was able to go little less root, next section, more root, and what that creates is this really nice disheveled blend where you get highs and lows in the hair and it doesn't look like a straight line. And in the back, I apply even further down into the crown area and the nape of the neck to give it even more depth, so that as it goes around, you get that movement of color there. So the formulas that I use for this bad boy here, for the red is, one second, 6-6, which is level 6 red, and the -66, which is the red booster. I use 30 mils of each. So that's 60 mils in total. And then I mixed it 1 part, 60 mils of the Liquid Demi developer. And with the ends here, I mix 1 part clear to 1 part 9-1 to the Liquid Demi developer. And that's how I created this perfect platinum blonde. It didn't go too bluish. It didn't go too purplish. It stays perfectly white. And what's really cool about this as well is I was able to keep this white even though I was doing a red root. It didn't bleed in when I rinsed it. It stayed true to tone, which is really important when you're working with any kind of colors. You don't want things getting all muckied up together because that's really unfortunate. So the next look I have here is my Copper Queen. She's like a more natural lived in copper girl. So at her root here, this is 6-3, which is our level 6 gold, and 7-4, which is our level 7 copper. And that's how I created this more natural copper at the root there. And even though I wanted something a bit more subdued, so that's why I put the 6-3 in there. I wanted something a little bit more organic and natural looking. And I did that equal parts. And then her ends are 9-4. So that's the level 9 copper. And look how shiny and bright that is. Super pigmented, really nice. If I wanted something even more intense, I would add the -44 booster. That would give me even more intensity. Again, when you're adding your boosters with the Liquid Demi, make sure you're always adding in the right amount of your Liquid Demi developer to account for it. Okay, And the next look I want to show you is a pink look. Now this pink look I created using 3 different formulas, but the one formula that we're going to talk about is my 9-2 and 6-6 booster. So by using 9-2 and 6-6, our red booster, I was able to create a pink, which is really amazing. So this is like a great thing with our liquid demis, is that you still can create fashion shades with them as well. It doesn't just have to be your typical shades that you see all the time. We can do those fun things, and they only last 4 to 8 weeks. So that client isn't going to be hung up on it staying too long. That lasts 48 weeks, and it fades completely back to the original palette, which is something that's really important when you're doing shadow roots. I find sometimes with other lines, what will happen is that as the shadow root washes out, the root area stays like a darker blonde compared to the ends, even though you lifted everything evenly. What's really great about the Paul Bryant liquid demis is that once they wash out of the hair, they go back to the original canvas. So they don't leave any residue of pigment in the hair once they wash out, which is like a huge plus side for me, because you hate that. You get a blonde root retouch, come back in, and then you have to call it, then you have to smudge the root and do all this other extra work. It's like so frustrating. So now what was the ratio for the pink? So the ratio for the pink was 30 mils 9-2 and like a pinch. So I calculated 3 mils. So that could really be anywhere from like 2 to 4 mils of the -6-6 booster. And that's how I created the pink. So another formula for like a smokier pink that's really pretty is 9-11 clear and the -6-6 booster. And that gives you this really nice smoky pink as well. So that's a really cool formula too. I have the ratios for that, and I can get that for you as well. All right, so now we're going to talk about Faction 8, which is our fundamental color family line. It's made out of quinoa, which has mild bonding properties, and which gives the hair moisture and protein. There's coconut oil, which prevents dandruff and hair breakage. We have linseed oil, which adds vitamin E, lowers skin irritation, and mango seed butter, which adds moisture. So Faction 8 is ammonia-based, even though the Liquid Demi line is not ammonia-based. We have our ammonia-based color line for all that great gray coverage stuff. So when using Faction 8, you typically are mixing it 1 part color to 1 part developer and letting it process for 35 minutes. If you want to create a demi-like color, what you can do is you mix it 1 part color to 2 parts developer, let it process for 10 to 20 minutes, only using 6 or 10 volume, and that will give you a demi-like color. Yes, you will get a little bit more shifting in the base. So I do recommend, if you want absolutely no lift and no shifting, that you use our Liquid Demi, because that will give you no lift. The high lifts in our beautiful Faction 8 series are mixing 1 to 2 and processing for 45 to 55 minutes with 30 or 40 vol. And the high lifts work best on levels 6 and up. Then we have our boosters. Now the boosters you can also use on their own, just like our Liquid Demi, to create fashion shades. So you can mix 1 part booster to 1 part developer with 6 or 10 volume, and you'll get a fashion shade out of our boosters, which I'll show you just a little bit later. So first, what I want to do is want to talk about the natural series, which is our natural ash, natural cool base tones. Gives you nice balanced cool base tones. So you get gray coverage on fine to medium hair out of the natural series, ideal for less than 50% gray. And on fine hair, you can get gray coverage with 10 volume. And on coarse hair, you get gray coverage with 20 volume. So if someone has more gray hair than that, their gray hair is really stubborn, what you want to do is you want to reach for your double natural series. So your double natural series is more opaque coverage, colors every hair the same strand. And what it will do as well is give you 100% gray coverage on 100% gray or things like that. Now, a really key tool for when you're using the double naturals to make sure that it doesn't brown out certain colors or make other colors too dark, what you can do is on 25% gray on coarse hair, you're going to mix 1 part your target shade to a quarter part the double natural. If they're 50% gray, what you're going to do is 1 part target shade to half part double natural. If they're 100% gray, 1 part target shade to 1 part double natural. Hopefully that makes sense for everybody as well when you're using your double naturals, especially with your bright reds. That little trick will make sure that they don't get too brown and your red stays super vibrant while still getting 100% gray coverage. Alrighty, moving on to our natural gold series. Again, the natural golds are going to give you those warmer, richer browns, as you can see right down here. Here, I'm going to stand on my tippy toes. So you can see right down here, those warmer, richer tones. And again, the lighter tones are beautiful for toning because they're so natural. They're so easy to work with and they just blend beautifully. Again, great for low lighting. Moving on to our ash series, again, the blue base series, all the way down into our 5-1, which is probably one of my most used colors, is 5-1 and 5-0. So these are our ash series. Again, good for creating those silvers that don't go gray. I'm going to show you a really cool trick with using the lighter shades here and using our high-speed toners for toning. And then we have our violet series, our 9-2, and our lower levels, which is 5-2-2, 4-2-2, and 3-2-2, and 6-2-2, which is a double violet, was just added to the series as well, which is one of our new colors, new shades, which I'm really excited about. Moving on to our gold and our gold copper series, as you can see right down here. So our gold series, again, is really good for giving you those nice, warm, richer browns in the lower levels. And then that really cool, like Billie Eilish tone blonde. You're going to get that really natural, nice blonde out of it. And then with our copper series here, copper gold series, it gives you a more lived in copper. So something that's much more natural. And if the shades, the swatches look a little dark, all you got to do is just fan them out to get a better idea of the true color. Some people say, oh my gosh, they look so dark. And I'm like, no, they're on level. Just fan them out a little bit. Okay, moving on to our copper series, which is one of my favorite series, especially for filling and things like that, but mostly for creating beautiful, bright coppers. They're super rich, super bright, give you super great vibrancy. I absolutely love utilizing them. One of the really fun things with the copper is that they're more orange than warmer red, so you're getting a really true orange. Next is our red violet, our red violet, and our red violet is really nice as well. It gives you this really nice mahogany rich tone, and if you want a cooler effect, what you can do is you can add -22 or -55 booster to it, and it'll give it a cooler, more even more subdued mahogany that's even on the less red side. And then moving on to our reds, which are super intense. And then we have our 7-6, 6-6, 5-6, 4-6 for those nice intense reds, and then our double reds for those super intense bright colors that I love using. I probably use 7-66 the most with the -66 booster. Super nice. Then we have our matte series. As you can tell, it's one of my favorite series because it's covered in color. So the matte series is green based, as you can tell by the swatch up here. These colors are super nice, give you great reflection, great shine. It doesn't look flat or muddy. You're still going to get really nice reflection out of it. Again, we need to make sure there is red in the hair when using it. That's why we only have it in the lower levels, because if you're putting it on something that isn't red, it is going to go a bit muddy. And then moving on to our brown series, which gives you that perfect, nice, cool, rich brown. Not too red, not too anything. It's just super rich and bright. Really nice for low lighting as well. And then moving on to our boosters. So again, the boosters can be used on their own, mixing 1 part booster to 1 part developer with 6 or 10 volume. Or you can add your booster into any of your shades to give them more pigment. So we have the -11, which is our blue booster, -22, which is our purple booster, -33, which is our yellow gold booster, -44 copper, and then -55, which is this really cool like pink booster. and then -66, which is our red booster. So if you're using less than 10 grams of the booster in your formula, you don't need to add more developer. But if you're using more than 10 grams of booster in your formula, you need to up that developer to make sure that you're compensating for that extra pigment. Then moving on to our high lift series. So again, the high lifts work best on level 6 and up. They do give you gray coverage. Learning from myself, one of the best ones is 1103. Don't get scared, but using it will give you that perfect, like bright white blonde. These guys are really great when you're lifting on darker levels and you're trying to tone as well. Okay, and then moving on to our high speed toners. So the high speed toners work best on levels 8 and up, and they're best for toning permanent. They do like permanent fashion shade toning on bleached hair. So they work best on levels 8 and up. We have our natural toner, which is just a natural cool balance. We have the silver toner, which is blue base, the violet toner, which is purple. We have an ash toner, which is actually olive base. So it's really great for doing color corrective work. And then we have icy, which is a blue ice, a blue lilac base. And then we have rose gold, which is a red orange base. And the two new high speed toners is moonstone, which is like lilac base. And then we have pale pink, which is pink based. So base would be red orange. And the high speed toners again work best on levels 8 and up. And if you want to dilute the shades to create a more pastelized effect, so it's not purely pigmented, what you can do instead of mixing your high speed toners 1 part color to 2 parts developer, which is your suggested ratio for mixing the high speed toners, I recommend bumping that ratio up to 1:4 or 1:3, so you get a more pastelized toning effect. I find moonstone and pale pink work best on levels 10. They don't really work so well on the lower levels. So keeping that in mind when you're trying to reach for your high speed toners. And because they are ammonia based, I also recommend using them on toning for full bleach outs, or if you're using them to tone highlights or balayages, to start at the bottom and then just slowly work your way up to the top. Also letting the high speed toner sit out after mixing for about 5 to 10 minutes, just mix it up prior to doing your client. Letting it sit out will help ease off some of the effects, so you get a nicer, more translucent coverage, and it's not so pigmented, because those high speed toners are very pigmented colors. So moving on to this mannequin right here. This is our high speed toner and Faction 8 model. So what I did here is, because Faction 8 and the high speed toners are both ammonia based, they're intermixable. So what I did to create this really cool, more silver color was I mixed, what did I do? This is important. I used the high speed toner silver and 9-1. So that's our level 9 ash. And I mixed them together to create a more intense and a more on tone. It gives the silver like a target to go to with the level 9 in there. And it really creates a nice, beautiful silver tone. And it's so shiny, it's so cool. So it gives you so much more flexibility with the shades. Now that you can mix the high speed toners with the levels, you can create so many different colors, things like that. So this mannequin here, she's got a couple of different colors going on. Really nice as well. So most of her colors, it's the natural and rose gold toner is what's at the root. So you get this kind of really cool, like corally color. You get natural and rose gold there, which is really great. And then it makes this really cool. I was like surprised and impressed with that color that it made. Oh my God, I can't get it back on here. Sorry, guys. Perfect. And then some of the other panels in here is rose gold and the -55 booster. So that's our pink booster. So it gave us a much more intense pinky tone in here. And then we have violet and the -66 booster. So again, another pinky tone, more purpley reddish over here. So it's super nice, gives you a lot more flexibility with the colors. And this light pink color here is rose gold, diluted 1:4. So it gives you that really nice pale light pink.
I love that one. It's so pretty.
That one is my favorite. I want my hair that one, but
That's what I'm rocking. I'm rocking the pale pink toner.
The pale pink toner. Yes, there you go. Good for you. Pale pink's my favorite. Okay, perfect. So now I want to talk about filling the hair when using Factionate. So something that's really cool about Factionate is that when you're trying to fill blondes and get your darker desired color, what you can do is actually mix the formula together and then do it all in one application, as opposed to filling the hair, washing it out, and then putting your permanent color on top. What you can do is add about a quarter of your formula, that filler color, into your desired shade, apply it all at once, and you will get a nice perfect tone that's not going to wash out mucky or go too funky on you. It's still going to be filled and everything's going to be done in one step. So that's really cool as well. So for example, here, what I did was I mixed 834, which is our gold copper, because I like filling with like a cinnamon color. I find it works really well instead of filling with like a bright orange. Sometimes I find it washes out too red. So I like to fill hair with a cinnamon tone. I find it looks really nice and works out really well for me. So I toned with 834. So in this formula here, this is 7-66. And the 6-6 booster with 4-5 at the root. So that darker mahogany color at the root, you can see that nice little top root there, super gorgeous. So this is the 7-66, 834, and the 6-6 booster to give me that bright red all in one step. It doesn't go hollow, it doesn't look flat, and it was all done on a platinum blonde. So that's something that's really cool too when you're thinking about color, is that you can do it all in one go and have no issues there. Okay, perfect. Any questions at all from anybody? No questions? Okay, perfect. Well, that is most of my class for